Salutations everyone and welcome to What Mattered, the show where I tell you what mattered in the news this week. SGDQ is over, but man did it go out with a bang. Ronda Rousey's speedrun of USC was fantastic, 34 seconds, damn! You don't need to save any frames or any animals because she fucking killed it. So our first bit of news today is about Destiny and the upcoming DLC, The Taken King. Our boy Nolan North, one of the most famous voice actors in video game history, has recorded lines to be the new Ghost in The Taken King, but after Bungie saw what an amazing job he did, they're like, hey, can you just like re-record all of Dinklebot's lines? That would be great. And he did, so Dinklebot's out. Dinklage's voice acting for the game has been criticized since the alpha really came out. And it comes to no surprise that with a veteran like Nolan North voicing a ghost, that they said, like, you know what, that's better than anything else that we've seen so far. Can we just make the game better by adding Nolan North and getting Dinklebot out of it? It's kind of a surprising move because a voice acting role in a video game that's over a year old, I don't think that's ever happened before. Granted, Dinklage did get criticism on his unenthusiastic performance, and Nolan North is like the cream of the crop, so the disparity between voice acting ability is pretty disparaging. But still, at the same time, to totally recast a voice role and a year later is kind of unprecedented, I would say. But hopefully with the redone lines as well as the Taken King DLC, the Ghost will become more of a companion that I think Bungie set him out to be in the first place, because the previous DLC didn't have any other extra lines, and he was kind of set up to like be this big, you know, Cortana-esque claptrap sidekick kind of thing, and it never really came to fruition. But now, with Nolan North at the helm, they might finally be able to at least go towards that direction. Ah, smell that? It's in the air. Another week, another Battlefront game mode. After many a months of teasing, we finally have an official fighter mode in Star Wars Battlefront. So you got the Rebels versus the Imperials, all the ships you would ever want to pilot, including, I assume, what will be hero classes, because they showed the Millennium Falcon in the actual trailer. It's a 10v10, but there are bots in there, which a lot of people are angry about, especially after like the really lackluster performance of Titanfall's AI. But in a aerial situation, this isn't as big of a deal, I feel, because if you take a look at like another aerial fighter multiplayer mode, like in Dogfight on Battlefield 4, it was extremely difficult because of the controls and, you know, how hard it was to actually hit something. And it was a large arena with just human players, so you didn't really get to see a whole lot of action until you actually started getting good, which, trust me, took a little bit. So along with adding the cannon fodder of AI-controlled X-Wings and TIE fighters that you can destroy, I think might add a little bit more to that mode to make it feel like what it should feel like in a Star Wars fight squadron based thing. But of course, as with the rest of Battlefront, we'll have to take a wait and see approach when the game finally comes out. We can get all up in its goodness. And in case all of the other spin-offs and mangas and anime and TV and movies just aren't wetting your whistle for some reason on Attack on Titan, never fear, because they actually have a real video game coming out soon. There was the 3DS one that nobody really liked, and it still got an English port, and still nobody really liked it. So now Tecmo Koei, the company behind all the Dynasty Warriors games, and they also worked on a couple anime titles in like One Piece and Gundam, is giving their shot at it. Now the trailer was really just a tease. It looks very cel-shaded, and who knows like how they're going to handle it, because it's going to be like a reverse role of what Dynasty Warriors is. For those of you who don't know, in Dynasty Warriors you play as one character, or you can use a multitude of characters, but you're only controlling one character at a time, and you're killing maybe up to 1,000 enemies in a single mission. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it, instead of killing a bunch of things to just killing one or two or just a small handful of giant colossal titans. So that'll be interesting, and I mean, all of this off of one season of an anime, it's kind of crazy, but I guess the train ain't stopping. And now let's talk about Fantastic Four. I myself personally haven't seen it yet, but from what we've seen from the very beginning up until now that the movie is out, have been really, really bad signs, and it looks like all of those bad signs were pointing towards a bad outcome. First, we saw some weird creative choices, some weird acting choices where, like, you know, the age difference and the gap, and it looked like the dichotomy of the team was going to change. And then, of course, they're going to try to put their own spin on it, have their own little origin, and they're changing Dr. Doom. And then it came out a week ago that Fox was putting a hold on all movie reviews until the movie came out, which is never a good sign. And then a couple of days ago, when the movie reviews finally did come out, boy, were they overwhelmingly bad. I know Miles Teller said that these kind of movies never do well with critics. Well, a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, that doesn't spell good for any kind of film you're making. And with just a 31% audience approval rating, ooh, that hurts. The director of the movie, Josh Tank, has already gone on the defensive, tweeting that he later deleted. "A year ago, I had a fantastic version of this, and it would have received great reviews. You'll probably never see it. That's reality, though." So that's a lot of really quick backpedaling and backtracking and blaming the studios, which I'm sure didn't have a lot of good things to add and change to this film. But overall, it doesn't show that you can't make a good Fantastic Four movie. You can. The source material is there. You just always have the wrong people helming the film. You have these higher ups trying to make all these decisions to try to pull in every single type of audience that they possibly can. They're trying to alter the story to make it their own and separate themselves more from Marvel, which is just a bad idea in the first place. And then obviously you just have a bad script and or a bad director and just a bad movie. I think the main cast were all good decisions. I don't know much about the guy who plays Ben Grimm, but the other three, I know their work and really liked their choices as their characters. But still, you can squander a good cast. We've seen that plenty of times in the past. So one can only hope that it does terrible in the box office and Marvel gets the rights back to it so they can do Marvel's first family justice, for fuck's sake. So we have plenty of news coming out of Gamescom. First off, Battleborn has a release date, February 6th of the year 2016. They announced a few more playable characters to bring their total to 25 playable characters at launch, up to 5-player co-op, split screen, you have the story mode, you have the competitive multiplayer, and it just looks like it's got a lot of things going for it. Who knows if this hype is going to lead to the game that we would all like it to be, but it's Gearbox and they've shown that they can do very, very good games in the first-person genre. This is a different little spin, so it's going to be interesting to see. In an announcement I don't think anyone was expecting, Halo Wars 2 will be coming out fall of 2016. So yeah, if you like the old RTS that actually worked on a console, which was very much news at the time, you will get a sequel fall of next year, and it's another Halo game, so we know it's going to be good. And we have some somber news. The rumors were true, and Mighty Number 9 is being pushed back to next year. And it had me wondering, you know, what's wrong with it? I played it at Comic-Con, it was absolutely amazing. Well, it turns out there are some online features that have a lot of bugs in them that they feel like they really need to address and fix before they feel that they can actually fully release the game. So that is a shame, but the game is going to be made the way that it's going to be made, and that's the way that it should be made, and that's perfectly playable in every way. Microsoft made another announcement regarding the Xbox One's backwards capability, in that all future Xbox 360 games on Games for Gold will be backwards compatible, which means every month Xbox One gets 4 games to play. Also announced with the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which will be only costing you $40 on Xbox One. While it is just the remastered first game, you will also, along with that, get for free all of the other Gears of War games via backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. And lastly, we finally have a release date for Ready Player One, which is a novel. I haven't read it yet, but I got 2 years. It'll be coming out December 15th, 2017. So you got some time if you want to read this book. It's probably going to be pretty big because it's this guy named Steven Spielberg. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's directing this film. It's a very, very popular book, and it's just a really cool, really hypey thing, and we're got a movie about in 2 years. So you have 2 years to read one book, guys. Come on, you can do it. Anywho, and Blowfish, that is what mattered this week. If you'd like to know what matters in the future, you can hit the subscribe button. One of these comes out every single Saturday. Let me know what you guys thought about all the stories that I mentioned in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time.